It's time for another countdown on the Xtreme Channel. In case you were too lazy, busy, or stupid to look at the thumbnail or the title below, this is about Sentinel Statues. Hey, I'm Mr. X. You ever notice when I sit right here, it looks like Medusa is part of my hair? Almost looks like I may have a mullet. Party in the back, business up front. Have any of you ever had a mullet? Go ahead and throw that in the comments below before we get started. But officially, my name is Mr. X, and a big portion of this channel for you new people is all about high-end collectibles. Today, we're going to do another top 10, I think it's actually 12, but shh. But today, we're going to do another countdown looking at the top Sentinel statues. And just for a little bit of background, Sentinels are a character from Marvel Comics, specifically with the X-Men. Sentinels are robotic creatures that hunt down and kill mutants. Now these are giant robots over 30 feet tall with tons of different abilities. Believe it or not, I have over 30 Sentinel statues that have gone through the Xtreme Collection and or are coming to the Xtreme Collection, and today we're going to look at them all. But before we do that, we're doing another giveaway. We are going to hit 20,000 subscribers in 2020. To do that, we're giving away a statue every 2,500 subs. At 15,000 subs, the winner will get to choose between these two PCS Mortal Kombat statues. Make sure that you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Then stay tuned towards the end of this video to find out how to enter. Now this countdown is going to be very similar to the other ones. We're going to divide it into three categories. First category being pieces I no longer own or sold, and those will not be in a specific order. Second category is pieces that are incoming to the collection that are Sentinel pieces, and I've ranked those in order of anticipation. And then the third category will be current pieces that I own. And every single piece that comes through this collection, you will actually get a detailed review on. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe, and that bell notification. But let's dive into the pieces that I no longer own, and again, this is no particular order, of Sentinel statues. This first piece right here is from Sideshow Collectibles. This is their Magneto maquette. And while Magneto is one of my favorite characters, I didn't dig this. Mainly I thought that the Sentinel head was much too small, so I actually sold this to the one, the only Gem Mint. I hope he never uses a black light on it, and that's all I'm going to say about that. This next piece is a Rogue vs. Sentinel statue. This had some really unique features and I really liked it. It went well with the entire line, but I sold some of the other line and I ended up selling this to another collector who it actually worked out to be a fantastic deal, but it was a very cool Rogue vs. Sentinel hand. And from that same line, I sold the Cyclops vs. Sentinel chest. This piece was awesome right here, but I had another Cyclops vs. Sentinel that you'll actually see in the countdown, so I ended up getting rid of him. I did keep one from this line, and I do have a few more coming we are going to look at. Now, I never got this piece in, but I did have the Studios Sentinel diorama on order. The reason why I canceled this is I'm going in a different direction with Iron Studios, and I think this just takes up too much space for my collection. However, I love the fact that it is probably going to be one of the most amazing pieces out there. Plus, I was scared to death of shipping. But congrats to anybody who's going to get this. I am truly jealous. Then I also sold the Sideshow Sentinel maquette. And I sold this to the same guy who actually purchased the Rogue. The reason I got rid of this, it didn't scale well with the rest of my 1/4 statues. However, I think this would be a phenomenal piece to put with the new Iron Studios statues, which we're going to talk about a little bit later today. Then the last piece, I specifically put this last because this was probably the hardest one for me to give up, is a custom Psylocke vs. Sentinel. Now when I say custom, I mean it was a private commission, usually numbering less than 100, and I think all of these I actually have reviewed. You can take a look in the Xtreme Channel videos. So now we have 11 pieces that are on order that will be arriving to the collection. Some of them probably within the next month, some maybe next year. Now these are very hard to rank. However, I rank them in what I'm anticipating the most, and there are so many different factors going into that. So the bottom statue on the list doesn't necessarily mean it's the worst statue, and the top one definitely doesn't mean it's the best statue, even though I think it may be. But let's start in with number 11. Number 11 goes along with that same line of the Rogue and Cyclops I sold. This is a Wolverine. I initially was going all in with this line, and I think this looks really cool. I'm a sucker for Wolverine, I'm a sucker for Sentinel statues, so I went ahead and picked this up. And the same thing can actually be said about the next few here, including number 10. This is a Gambit from this line. Very excited about this piece. This probably should have been ranked higher now that I'm reading this list, but we'll go ahead and keep it here for now because I don't want to edit. This looks really cool. Gambit on a Sentinel chest, and I think they were actually able to scale down the base a little bit so it doesn't take up too much room. Another piece, I have a Storm coming. So this is Storm vs. Sentinel. This, to my knowledge, hasn't been done yet. There are a few other customs in the work. All of these are customs right here. Again, the unlicensed private commissions. But this will be really cool. I do have XM Studios Storm, which is not on this list because she's not versus Sentinel, but it's still very cool looking piece. Number 8 will be the 4th custom Iceman I have purchased. This is an Iceman vs. Sentinel. Again, I already have one of those. I purchased this because I was going with the entire line, and I like some features on this. It kind of blends some of the other customs together that I have reviewed on the channel, and I actually have one sitting about 10 feet from me right now that I have not reviewed yet. I don't know when that will launch. Number 7 right here, this is just a picture I took from the internet, so I've ordered this, and I don't know what it's going to look like because that's how it's done sometimes in the custom game. Well, how is this more anticipated than statues you've seen? Well, maybe that's what makes it more anticipating, but this is a custom Magneto on throne. I do have the XM Studios Magneto on throne. You're going to see that on the list, but I think this will top it, and hopefully this is scaled correctly. Number 6 is XM Studios Gambit. You can see at the bottom there is a small Sentinel aspect to this base, and that's why I threw it in the list. This also should be arriving very soon. I'm really excited that this doesn't take up a huge footprint with my Xmen statues, and this will be phenomenal. Eventually I will do an Xtrumble or an Extreme Rumble video between this and the custom, and then one will be the winner and I will probably sell off the other one. Now number 5 I have ranked a little bit higher because I have seen some teasers. This is just like number 7, another custom Magneto on throne. Very excited, one of the best sculptors in the game. I guess one of the best sculptors is doing number 7 as well. So who knows which one's going to be better, but we'll do some Xtrumbles for sure. And I think the value of XM Studios Magneto will definitely go down on this, but it's cool to see other competition knocking out such, or not knocking out, but going head to head with such a classic piece. Number 4 is Iron Studios Sentinel number 3. I purchased this with all the characters added to it. I loved Gem Mint's video of Sideshow Con, got me even more excited. And this one, it was really hard to decide what I was more anticipating, this one or number 1, which you'll see higher up on the list. But I did choose this one as number 4. Looks so freaking cool. Number 3 is the Iron Studios Sentinel number 1. This one has the classic characters with it. This is the first one they revealed. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit more excited. It actually comes sooner, which does play into this list for sure. Iron Studios Sentinel number 1 I have purchased with all the characters. And you may be wondering, do you have number 2 purchased? I do not. I would love number 2 without the characters, but they only sell it with the characters because I am not digging that Magneto. Number 2 should ship in the next month or two. This is a custom Colossus. This is 1/4 scale. You guys have seen this before. It goes along with the huge line that I have of these giant pieces we're going to look at in the list of the ones I own. This looks phenomenal. This is a painted, I believe this may be the prototype right here, but I've seen some kits painted. Cannot wait to get this in hand. It's going to be my favorite, my best Colossus piece for sure. And number 1 is Phase 3. Cannot wait to have this piece. This should ship at the same time as Colossus, so August, September hopefully. Looks phenomenal. I think this will be a grail. I absolutely love every aspect of this. Cannot wait to get him in. So now we're down to 12 pieces, and these are all 12 pieces that I currently own. And I've ranked them in order from what I actually like the best to what I like the least.
Strike that. Reverse it.
Now, number 1 doesn't mean it's the best sculpt or the best concept. It just means it's my preference of what I like the best. Art is subjective, so if I had to sell pieces, which one would go first? When I said 12, there's actually 13. I lied. This is a post-video edit. This is a custom 1/4 scale Wolverine and X23 diorama. There are Sentinel pieces on this base. This piece, the concept is awesome, but the paint and sculpt are kind of lacking, but nonetheless, it is still a very cool piece. And that is number 12. That is this Fastball Special. Now, this piece right here has an interesting story behind it. It has a Sentinel base, but I actually don't display it with that anymore. I actually have a custom base for it because the Sentinel hand just takes up too much room. I actually have the Sentinel hand in my X-Men collection, kind of just sitting there. So it's a good piece that kind of sits on its own. The reason why this is last on my list is realistically I have a better Wolverine, I have a better Colossus. However, this is still a cool piece, but it is so hard to display. Number 11 is the newest Sideshow Wolverine Premium format. This is a really cool piece. The reason why it ranked lower is I think the Sentinel hand is incredibly underscaled. I actually have seen a custom group. They're doing something with this where you can display it differently, and this will definitely raise the level of this piece. Number 10 is a piece that actually gets a lot of hate. It's a custom Jubilee. This is, to my knowledge, the only Jubilee versus Sentinel statue, and I like it quite a bit, actually. I've done a review on it. This was one of the first reviews back in the day when I started the channel. I think this has a ton of good qualities, and I don't quite understand the hate for it. Some of it's directed towards the person who produced it, but still a very cool piece in my collection. Number 9 is a chibi diorama. So this is a very interesting piece. It's got the Japanese style characters on this, kind of reminds you a lot of those Iron Studios pieces or even the XM Studios piece, but comical in a way, but still very, very cool. This one is lower on the list because you can't really display it with anything else. It's kind of a standalone piece, and if you have a ton of X-Men, to me it just doesn't fit in. And this one I'm surprised I ranked it as high as I did for those reasons. Number 8 is the XM Magneto on Throne. This is a very cool piece. I love everything about it but the scale. What's interesting about this is how much value it holds after so long, and the edition size was fairly big at 1,000, but nonetheless, it is a very cool piece. I love the custom switch outs I have on it. Number 8, XM Magneto. Number 7 is a custom Beast vs. Sentinel. This is that line of the Rogue and Cyclops I sold. This is the first one that they released, and definitely the best in the collection. I really love this. It's an awesome piece. I do have another Beast vs. Sentinel that, now that I'm going down this list, I totally forgot about, which really makes me wonder how many other pieces did I forget about. Number 6, and when I was taking pictures of these, she probably should have ranked higher. This is a custom Psylocke. Really, really enjoy this piece. I typically don't like pieces that show this kind of sass or, the sexy, sultry stuff, but I do really enjoy this piece. It shows her power. It's an awesome base. It's a great representation of her. Some people are not fans of the portrait. I like it quite a bit. Very cool custom Psylocke vs. Sentinel at number 6. Number 5 is Sideshows X23. I'm a huge fan of this statue. I like both portraits, the exclusive and the regular. I recently had an opportunity to pick up a custom one, not vs. Sentinel, which probably looked a little bit better than this, but I just love this one so much. And what's crazy is the Sentinel hand is also underscaled like it is Wolverine, but I like her. She's twice as high on the list as Wolverine is. But awesome, awesome piece. I don't ever foresee myself getting rid of her. Number 4 is the giant custom Iceman vs. Sentinel. One of the most complex, dynamic pieces ever made. Some people are very big haters towards this piece. And then there's people like me that think it's one of the best pieces in their collection. Big fan of it. It showcases Iceman's power. It shows him building a bridge. It shows him shooting out ice, freezing a Sentinel hand. How cool is all of that? The only thing that's cooler is seeing the leader of the X-Men, number 3, Cyclops, destroying a similar Sentinel hand. I love every part of this statue, and in this line, I thought this would be my least favorite, and as you can see, it's one of my favorites. I love how it displays his power. It's so action, so dynamic. The base is phenomenally done. Amazing, amazing statue. By far, in my opinion, best Cyclops ever made. And tied for number 3 was one of my most anticipated pieces I ever got, this custom Rogue vs. Sentinel. And this piece also got a lot of hate. It is one of the most amazing dynamic pieces with amazing paint and sculpt, other than some of the portraits. Some of the portraits were not good. A few of them looked decent, and then the rest of the statue was amazing. So it is therefore one of my favorites. Number 2 is my most recent addition, this Banshee vs. Sentinel. Never in a million years would I have guessed that a Banshee statue would be one of my favorites. And it could be because this is new. I mean, this list may change depending on my mood, but this came in at number 2. This is pretty incredible how it showcases Banshee's power. The paint and sculpt on this are phenomenal as well. So if you're doing the math, my number 1 is my Magneto vs. Sentinel. And it's not just because this was such an expensive statue. It's not just because this was the prototype. It's because it is just phenomenal beyond words. It is professionally painted, which probably helps compared to a lot of the other ones on this list that were factory painted, but that isn't even close to the reason why. This is one of my favorite characters. It shows him destroying the X-Men. It shows him showing off his power. It's a huge centerpiece of any collection, and my absolute favorite X-Men vs. Sentinel statue by far. So just like I said, I have that Beast incoming. I probably forgot some other ones, so I do apologize. Try to get them all every single time. But go ahead and let me know in the comments which one of those is your favorite, or if there's one that even wasn't on those lists that is your favorite, maybe that's coming out. That'd be cool to see. Also, because it helps you win that statue. To win one of these Mortal Kombat statues, all you have to do is comment on a video. At 15,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick a random video and pick a random comment. That person will win the prize. They can choose between these two pieces. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. But really appreciate it, guys. Check out some of these other countdowns on this playlist, or hit that Mr. X logo to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet, because all those pieces that are coming in, we're going to do detailed reviews, and when you hit that bell notification, you will be the first to know. I will talk to you tomorrow. Don't take care.